Every successful business has unique superpowers in how they serve their customers. Oftentimes that looks like the products and services you offer, the transformation you create, and behind that is a story, right? When I say superpowers, you probably think of a superhero. All of these superheroes out there in comic books and movies, they have an origin story. And that origin story exists to help us connect and understand how this character, how this person has become the person they are today. So, what's the origin story for your business? What's your why? The following framework shows the progression that happens for every character in the journey of transformation, often called the hero's journey. And in talking about the story for your brand, your customer is the hero, and you are the guide to help them be successful. Don't forget that when you make yourself the hero of the story that you're telling, then your customers will not care. They want to make sure that they feel understood and that you care about them. So to show that you care and that the story is about them, we follow a 5-part brand storytelling framework. And we break up each of these 5 parts into the 5 P's of your brand story. The first P is people. A story cannot exist without a character, the hero or heroine. Take the next few minutes and describe who your ideal customer is. Who are your people? What do they want? What vision do they have for their future? Now that you've described who you serve, let's talk about what problem that they experience. So describe 1 to 3 problems that are stopping your people, your customer, from achieving their vision. And then the next step is perspective. Perspective is all about belief transformation. So how can you help your customers believe that they can achieve their vision? The best stories out there guide their customers from a false belief to a new belief that they have what it takes to be successful. And that happens through telling a great story. So as you guide this belief transformation and creating a new perspective for your customers, you need to guide them to success with compassion and authority. So when we say compassion, you need to show a level of deep understanding that what they're experiencing is normal and there is a solution for them. Also, that oftentimes this story is something that you may have lived yourself, right? We often are our own best case studies to the products and services we create. So why not show that understanding and then that experience, so that way it can also translate into authority. Yes, credentials are nice to show authority, but also your ability to say, yes, I have been in your shoes, but also I have discovered and I provide the solution to help you be successful and remove this problem, as I've done for myself. The best stories out there have a compassionate guide, a compassionate leader to help the character, the main character, the hero, go from where they currently are to where they need to be the hero of the story. The best way to shift the perspective for your customers is by presenting them with a plan. The plan is a step-by-step process that your customers must follow to become successful, to get what they want, to achieve their vision. So this plan should have a step 1 to a step done. And that done is that end result that they are looking for. And we call that end result the payoff. Describe how the plan resulted in a success or failure for your customer. And particularly because this story should invite customers into a successful framework or successful experience, then the payoff should be a success, not a failure. And as you consider the payoff for your customers, what they must experience, there are 2 types of results that happen. The first result is an internal result. It's related to what's inside, the mindset. It's the achievement that someone has where they become self-actualized, where they have come to terms with their beliefs and what's inside. And then the other result is an external result. And this is usually with money and prestige. When you can identify those 2 specific payoffs or results that your customers must have for them to realize their vision and achieve what they want, then your 5-part brand story has been successful, for your customers being the hero to this story. And the amazing part about these 5 Ps, this 5-part brand story framework, is that it gives you language in how to talk about your customers, where they are in their journey. Because I guarantee that each and every one of your customers are at a different point in their own story. So you need to speak to them where they're at. And that's why the relevancy of understanding what message to share and using the language that you have written out in this brand story section is key, because that helps your customers feel like that they feel understood, right? There's that compassion and authority element that they can trust you to guide them to success, but also they can trust you to be kind along the way. And I want to emphasize kindness for a moment, because you find that people transform and become a new person, not by force, but by invite. When you can invite someone to take action based on their own agency versus you forcing them to do that, kind of like think of pulling them versus gently pushing them. People need a push and they need the invite to take action. So if you don't invite them at all, then they won't take action. People need a leader that they can follow, and you are that leader for your customers. But when you can do so in kindness and in love, which we talk about more in building a marketing plan with Know, Love, Trust, then you can help your customers win the day and they will become lifelong fans.